Welcome to Digression Bar 14. I'm Grant.
I'm also Grant.
I am not Grant, but Andrew.
So I want to start off by painting a picture here of our most recent D&D session. You picture our fine party of a human warlock. We have a human cleric. We have a thing fighter, blood
Human.
hunter,
I'm a human.
human. And then we have our halfling Smoy. Is he a rogue, right?
He's a rogue.
Not a ranger. And we're going through the lost mines of Phandelver. There's this deep, dark mine filled with undead and drow. And you've just killed their, big bad guy, the invisible black spider dude. And, you're feeling hurt. You went back, you saved a guy, and you're like, let's go. Let's explore this cave and really just find every little thing we can and get some treasure. And you're going around, you fight some ghouls, you get clawed up.
I mean, that was fine.
It wasn't fine for some people, I think, in the party. I think Lyle, Cole's character, got pretty just back up, down, up, down. But then
I mean, he got tackled and
he got paralyzed
restrained.
3 times.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Darren also got fucking slapped over and over again because he ran up front.
But we view this
Well, he has AC. He should do it.
But he got hit hard.
We view this brave band of adventurers who went out to save the Rockseeker brothers, and they turn the corner in this dark hallway, and there's just a dwarven zombie right there. So of course the rogue just goes in, and he's slices up this dwarven zombie.
Well, to be fair, we had there was room where he was going to give me advantage on the next. There was some thought behind it. It wasn't just we're gonna get him. It was okay, well,
we're trying to be tactical.
We're gonna be a little tactical as far as
what worked.
Yeah, not necessarily. We're gonna spend 10 minutes peeking around corners and seeing everything, but there was some thought.
Mm-hmm. So basically, he does that, and he gets greeted by this giant floating skull and glowing green flame. Green flame, right?
Yeah.
I like how Darren had no idea. You don't even know what that is, right? Green flame joke.
Maybe?
Okay. So, and it just charges at him, and it casts Fireball. And Fireball is one of the classic D&D spells, and it drops so the base damage of 40 on the party. And I think Andrew takes half.
And Lyle took half.
Lyle takes half, and then Lyle also takes another half because of his
uncanny dodge
that he just got. I used that right away. And I just remember it was such a great moment when we did that 2 nights ago, because D&D has all these very old traditions and items, and the dragons, the fireball, your first encounter with a troll, and you I think fireball's one of them, because you think it's just he's got a little fireball, he throws it, when actually it's more he just drops a fucking bomb. And I think that totally went that way when I say everyone takes 40 damage, and you just scream, Andrew, what? What?
Well, I mean, that's some top tier, highest grade fireballs. If that was lined up in a fireball line, it would be the alpha fireball.
Yeah, it was 8 damage below max or something, which is ridiculous with the kind of dice it was rolling.
Yeah, I mean, well, so 8d6 is how much it does. So you were 6 damage under max. Because
8d6, yeah.
You were 40 damage would be if you rolled a
46.
5 on every dice.
Yeah, it was really high. It was 6, 6, 5, 5, or 6. And I was I rolled it way ahead of time just because I want to make sure I kind of understood the potential damage. And when the first test roll came, I was like, should I keep it or not? Because I really wanted it to be a moment, because we've never actually had a campaign that kind of got that far. And the same thing, I don't ever think we've ever had a campaign where you guys actually fought a dragon. Legitimately fought a dragon.
Not a real dragon.
And though, I guess technically our last campaign, Flint the sorcerer did have fireball. Mm-hmm. I think not very long before the end of the campaign.
Right.
But
I thought you were talking about you could have accidentally killed us with a fireball using.
Oh no!
Well, magic surge.
I did use fireball maybe twice.
Okay.
So, it was just obviously a big, I think, turning point where everything else in that dungeon wasn't on that level at all. Even the boss that you guys went to early, the Black Spider, who's the big boss of that campaign, the Lost Mines of Phandelver, is kind of like a bitch, because you're supposed to be able to potentially go there really soon. But then there's just this one enemy who just floats in the middle of the dungeon who can fucking party wipe.
And he hit every one of us.
Yeah.
That, I mean, Am I getting like, how did he hit around that corner? Like, how
well,
did
I mean,
go,
that's just how Fireball
It's in
works.
the description. It goes around corners.
Yeah, it's,
like
so
that's
it's
actually
like,
that's not me being bullshit. That's part of it.
It'd be different if it's just like a sphere, and it's like the force of the explosion. It takes up that much space.
Because I was thinking like, shatter makes sense because it's like just a vibration, but fireball, like I would think the explosion would be dampened.
I'm just so glad.
Unless it's like a fireball that literally just like poofs in the area and just.
Well, it's just like, I mean, have you seen like a large scale explosion on like YouTube or anything? Like it's like a wave of like fiery force that comes out
usually
and wraps around.
Well, the fire. I guess if you're talking about like pure concussive force, everyone would be dead in there because of the shockwave. Because we're indoors.
I mean, I think that's part of. I think that's part of what goes into the damage that you take from fireball and stuff. But just that caliber of fireball is some
bullshit. Bullshit.
I've rolled really high on my hit die I've rolled above average on all my hit die so far, and I rolled D10s for hit die, and I took full damage and nearly got one shot.
Taking half damage from that dealt more than 2/3 my health.
It's fireball is ridiculous, and that's why it led to the next conversation where I think Cole was explaining like, oh yeah, it's like 8d6, like you'll know when you have it, Andrew, right? And it's like, you took that, right? It's like, no, I don't think I can. You did not take fireball level 5? What kind of sword, like warlock are you? And they're like, no, I don't think I can. It's like, well, what did, like, you could took the spell, right? Because then you could have just dispelled it. No, I took the fancy dancing lights. It's like, what? There's just such a great like moment at the end of that session.
Well, it could have worked real well though, because we could have fucked the skull in the ass like real fast if it had it took. And Grant also told me that like apparently it had advantage on magic checks.
It has on magical saving throws. Against like being charmed and against being.
Well, I think technically it's immune to charm.
I think it's immune to charm, but I knew like whatever his was is it actually probably is immune to charm too. But I was mainly looking at the effect. But either way, it beat the roll with like a 19, which is ridiculous. But don't worry, you tied up those 4 zombies. Level 1.
And honestly, that's going to be, I think, the biggest. As much as it didn't stop the flame skull, it did tie those guys up for up to a minute, which means we have 1 active zombie and 1 flame skull to deal with, and then we can gang up on each of those zombies as they're stunned and be like, okay, we all prepare the attack and hit it at once.
The one thing is like when I was debating taking that spell over a counter spell was I feel like I have shatter, that's great for crowd control, but at the same time, what happens when we're in the mix of the fight and I don't want to affect a lot of people, but I don't want to kill us. And I'm like, okay, this could work, especially if I convey, okay, guys, close your eyes. I don't want this to fuck you either. I mean, theoretically, if it did affect you, I could just run up and slap you, and that would undo it. But
that's true.
I still like the idea. I was like, guys, snore, or what was the word?
Oh,
snart.
What's your safe word?
Snorn. Well, there's snorn, and there's like 3 different words. Smorm, snorm.
But yeah, that went really, really well. I think that's going to be a fun dungeon. I did look into when we started like getting to certain sections, like what other people thought about just that campaign. And one of the things they called out were specifically the very first goblin fight in the campaign, the dragon, and then that flame skull were just way too high for where they should be. Because apparently, like, people would play it all the time. They'd be like a new DM, and they're like, "Oh, a dragon! It's Dungeons and Dragons." And they're like level 2, and they go attack it, and it just wipes them instantly.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh shoot. Or the same thing with the flame skull. Like they will wander over to like the cave, which is like the end game area, but you can theoretically go there early if you find out where it is. And then you kill the black spider, like you do, like the boss, and then you turn the corner, and that thing just lights you up. And if you like were new and you didn't realize that 8d6 is a lot of fucking damage, you'd be like, oh, I guess that kills you. Shoot. Well,
everyone's dead.
Yeah, and so far, like, nothing else in that dungeon is on that same level. You fight like a slime. If you go to the left, it's like a slime or 2, and then you go fight the boss.
Well, I mean, we did have a potentially deadly encounter with like 7-8 bugbears at once.
Yeah, that's because you guys fucked that up and you let them get away, and you fought every bugbear in the dungeon in like this tiny little dark hallway where you couldn't see.
Well,
if you had fireball then.
Yeah, that would have been that's why I used the Skull of Lightning Bolt there, was because that's exactly the situation where you need 8d6.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been fun. I've been really liking this dungeon. I think it helps by having like Roll20 because that takes out some like minutia where we just have a little more of the fun of actual playing. Whereas I know all the time we were like, okay, it's my turn. It's like, just gotta calculate my attack score, and they're like, okay, my strength is 6, and then I probably got a +1, and then it's proficient, and just like it slowed everything down. But I feel like we make a nice pace with Roll20 now. So
One thing that
your checks though are bullshit.
the checks that
The enemies like save all the fucking time.
the enemies roll really high sometimes. There was some other fight you were fighting where he was, it was the fucking flesh wall doppelganger thing where he just kept rolling 18s and 19s. It's like, well, I didn't plan for that. So he was just being like such an annoying bitch with like 8 damage. It's like he's not meant to be. Fuck. So they roll really high sometimes.
Well, and I think one thing that I always try to keep in mind is just that Davidson rolls way more times than we do. So like, it's like it just happens that the guy who is being a pain in the ass is that he keeps surviving or like keeps saving is like, yeah, he's the pain in the ass because all those other guys weren't a pain in the ass. Like one of them had to be a pain in the ass.
I do think that as a DM, I lose the perspective like of you fighting like one character. Like to me, it's just like a bunch of zombies, and I don't necessarily remember like who had the big hit. But I think in combat, you can realize that's the bad one. Like that's the one that keeps doing all the damage to the party. I don't realize that because it's just a group of things that are hitting a group of things. But I think you guys have a little more sense of that. So sometimes I don't realize one guy's killing everyone. So
well, and I think one thing, at least with this campaign, that's made it seem worthwhile to maybe pick out if there's one guy who's been especially damaging or especially tough, and that is because there might be a doppelganger in disguise, like something like that, where it's like, okay, maybe we should focus that guy because he hit for 2 turns in a row, like, versus just like, no, they're all goblins, whatever, we'll just kill them.
I have to say, if I had one big regret, it was that I didn't play up the Black Spider more. And that's even just something like, in the module they don't do a lot with, is he kind of just doesn't do anything, actually. Like, Glassstaff actually did stuff. Like, he's like, I sent red brands after you, whereas this Black Spider, he's just kind of there. And even like when you got to the dungeon, I'm like, shoot, I should have done something with this guy. He's just sitting in a fucking dungeon doing nothing. And I kind of regret that versus, like, I don't know. There's so many other characters that made better villains. They weren't meant to be.
Actually, I have 2 questions. First off, did the one brother have to die? Like, was he going to be dead no matter what?
He died before the campaign started.
Okay.
I mean, I could have changed that, but he's dead.
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like, oh yeah, we were just lollygagging. We were just lollygagging and he just died.
I mean, that's meta. You could guess that. I'm telling you that.
Right. I know that, but I just asked for clarification.
That would have been smart.
And why the hell were they moving the statue in?
Oh, that's spoilers.
Yeah, come on, dude.
Come on, that's too recent. You can ask about Cragmaw Castle. Like,
okay, well,
second stuff, you know.
Well, I thought it was just like he was doing it for like a tactical, like, oh, I'm going to get to jump on them because it didn't seem like it did anything.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I have no idea what he was doing, but
like, I guess maybe now that you're talking about it, maybe there's something to that statue.
Maybe there was nothing to the statue before, and there is.
Maybe it's a statue of enhanced fireball. It all comes full circle. That's all I need to do, and then I can do whatever bullshit I want.
Can I want that.
If you can carry a massive 9-foot stone statue with you everywhere, I'll give you a +1 on your fireball.
I just need a bag of holding with a large enough hole.
That's a quote right there. So
remember that one for later.
Yes.
I really like this campaign, though. I think it works out a little bit better because previously we were playing Heart of the Dragon Queen, which is very railroady, which I love how this one's just like a sandbox. So I don't have to worry about all these characters and naming them and giving them backstory. It's just kind of like, go. And it's definitely evolved. Like, I think compared to like some of the other people I've heard who played through, ours has varied a lot. Like, what are your big moments from this campaign we've been doing?
Well, one was when Bolvar decided that he was going to attack Agatha without telling anyone.
Yeah. No. He told us, and we're like, "That's not a good idea." But he's like, "Fuck it, I'm doing it anyway."
No,
he told the GM, and the GM was like, "Fucking do it, fucking do it."
No,
Bolvar, you said these are your tenants. You live by them. You're a paladin.
He told us that he wasn't comfortable with it, and we're like, no, I don't think that we should do it. And he was like, well, okay. And he never was like, guys, I don't care what you say. If I come, I'm doing it. I'd have left him home. I'd have been like, you can stay then.
So I guess for background, there is a side quest you can do in the game where you can get it a couple ways, but if you work for like the Harper chick, Sister Grail, she'll tell you to go take this comb, give it to the Banshee, be nice, tell her it's a present, and ask for the answer to one question and then leave. And you did that.
And she warned us. Agatha, the Banshee, is seriously not to be messed with. Like a very old, very, very powerful Banshee, not to be messed with. And we're like level 2, so we're like, oh, yeah, we're not going to fuck with that right now.
I just loved his like presentation to it. And I was like, okay, anything else before you guys leave? It's like, oh, yeah. What's over in the tree? Okay. Oh, yeah, one thing. I smite her. And you just tell everyone's like, what did you just say? It was just like so like nonchalant.
It's funny because like Cole or Lyle was outside of the cave, or like outside, just like, fuck, because like the door closed out behind him, and he's like, I'm just gonna wait out here, but he's like, nope. And then fucking, it's great because like first off, we could have gotten more out of her, and they closed that off to us, and then we all almost completely died. Didn't you technically die there?
Well, okay, so that was fairly predetermined to a certain degree.
That's like the opposite of plot armor.
Yeah, that was like a plot chink in the armor left open specifically.
Yeah. But that's why I wanted Boulevard to do it, because I knew that a character could come in there, and if you would probably go down if you fought the Banshee. So
you were supposed to die there anyway?
No, it wasn't meant to die. I was looking for an in for him to start playing that Blood Hunter class by Matt Mercer.
Okay.
And you don't have to die, but with how I kind of wanted it to happen with that character Striker, that's the way that would make the most sense to occur. So rather than like ham-fisting it, this was a perfect way. It's like, hey, you just asked me. I kind of want you to die. I'm not going to make you. But Bolvar is like greasing the wheel here really hard. So that's why I wanted him to do it. Not just because I wanted to be like, fuck the party.
He wasn't greasing the wheel. He was attaching fucking rockets to it.
God. So good. And I love moments like that because like when the players do it, it feels like really natural and fun. Like as a GM, it would feel like really forced. I was like, and then she attacks you. It's like, nah.
Right. I mean, I agree with that. And to be fair, I guess technically, like by the rules, Morn hasn't died. It's just like a weird, like how we've decided to describe it.
He died in a cutscene, so it's a real death.
Right. It's a cutscene death. It doesn't go on his stat sheet.
Yeah.
His KD is still above board.
Yeah. But wait a second. When you're like, are we talking ratio or spread?
We're talking spread.
Okay, because I was going to say if it was a ratio, technically it would still be the same if you died once.
Yeah, I know. We're talking spread though.
Well, we're talking spread. Well, that's why I clarify or asked for clarification.
One thing that's I really like the characters that I'm playing and all the multi-classing aspects. The one thing that kind of is a little unfortunate about it is like if I would have multi-classed later, it would have had less of an impact because on like combat proficiency or whatever, because like 5th level is like a level where shit starts to get more serious for a lot of the classes. All the classes kind of get like a shiny new thing that's like, and this is how we make sure that you stay relevant against these ramped up monsters that are coming your way. And the fact that I multi-classed early will just mean that I'm 2 levels behind on that. So like I don't get a second attack for 2 more levels, where like you just got upgraded. Your like basic attack, all this stuff got upgraded. So I mean, and it's not like Morn's whole purpose in combat is to be like a damage guy anyway. So it's not a big deal. But it's just interesting the way that multi-classing works in that way.
I think the biggest bonus I got from this level up was just the fact that all my spells, because they went up in a spell slot, they just get more damage that way. Because all I got from this was another invocation. That's where I got the night. I decided to get that dark vision. And I feel like...
Well, I mean, it's like Lyle got Uncanny Dodge, you got that, and like at this point, if I would have been all fighter or all blood hunter, I would have gotten
something.
Second attack. I would have gotten a second attack, which for a martial character is a big deal, right? Versus, I mean, there's still something.
I do have a second Eldritch Blast. So
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's another thing. I can fire 2 Eldritch Blasts.
You have your choice of 2 attacks to miss.
Yeah.
Is how that works out.
I really thought that Roll20 would be the great equalizer for you, and it just wasn't.
Nope. Maybe I'm cursed. I don't know.
Well, one thing that I was like almost that I kind of liked about playing the table is that there's all this like hokey superstition about
rolling. Like, you got to make sure the 20's right side up
right,
all
like
the
all this
time.
Positioning,
so it settles right.
Stuff. And
Roll20
it's funny that Roll20's kind of picked up on some of that stuff. Where I don't know if it's just that Cole and I are lucky, but.
Or sometimes when it like fucks up where it shows like that's clearly like a 19 but it says it's like a 4. What the fuck?
Yeah. The funniest one for me was when I did cast that lightning bolt and like the calculation on that they gave out versus what was on the screen was
wrong.
It was like 6 below the dice that are on the screen, and usually like if they're cocked like you can tell, but like these ones all showed on the screen like perfect squares for the d6s, like they landed all perfectly, and I was like, that's just not right.
Also, you could also go to see what were the dice results. So you can see, like, let's just say for the sake of argument that it could have been, or like this dice which should have been 3. It's like that's not even possible. Like the 3 wasn't even on one of the 4 sides. Mm-hmm. That could have been there.
I don't even know how they do that animation because like it scales to your window too. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think like you can make it really narrow and the dice just like all freak out. I don't know how you make it even get close to be what it should be, but it seems okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. And I think that was the only time I've ever had like a real issue with like that. And I think it was just because it was like a fairly high stress situation as well.
Yeah.
So it was like, well, we're all going to die. And now Roll20 screwed me out of 6 points of damage for these goddamn bugbears. Like, oh man. That was the first time that I really thought in this campaign that for some reason as like kind of quintessential and like memorable as the Banshee fight was, I didn't feel as like assured of our doom. And then
I think we were all just mad.
Yeah,
we were just like, God damn it, Bolvar.
And then, but in that bugbear fight where we had to fight all the bugbears at once, I was like, man, I don't know about this. This is not going to be good.
I have bad feelings almost every fight we go into.
Do you really?
I do. Someone's going to I'm going to die for some dumb reason.
I think almost the normal fights can be scarier because you would think like with the Black Spider, it's like, oh, in theory, maybe we could restrain him for 1 turn so we could all get away. Yeah. But if it's just like 6 really strong basic enemies in a random hallway, it's like, I think this is bad. There's just nothing we can do. And then it's like, and then your light goes out and it's darkness. It's just like, well, that's a thing.
Yeah, that's like honestly, like every encounter we get into, I'm like, I play through my own. How can this possibly go really poorly? And how do I maybe try to avoid that? It doesn't always work, but like the time like there was that one bandit and he had like his like turtle people and they had shields. Yeah. Like that happened. Like I'm gonna get fucking crushed. Like it's just I'm just gonna get crushed by that.
The turtle people. Yeah. Okay.
Like
you had an easy out though. You had the sword that like smashes the wood. Not the sword, the battle axe.
Yeah, but that only
you didn't know that yet.
I didn't know that yet. And so yeah, but still like
I've been trying weirder.
I get crit all the fucking time too.
Yeah, that's true. There's some vicious ones. Like there was in that same bugbear fight. One of the reasons it was so bad is like there's a bugbear that did some fucking ridiculous damage.
It did like I had
like 27 or something, and I did 27 damage. I was like, I laughed. I was like, what?
That's not right.
How is that possible? I double checked them
because death is if it does over half your health and damage.
It needs to do your entire health bar past 0 in 1 hit.
Past 0.
I looked this up because of the fireball.
Right,
I wanted to confirm I wasn't literally killing everyone.
Like, say for instance, my health is 20. My maximum health is 28, and I was at 1 health. They did 29 damage. That would kill me.
Yeah, instantly.
No saves.
It was like 1 damage away from killing me.
Here's a question. Can I ask this and you can say no? What's the Flame Skull's spell save DC? Because like I felt like I rolled like a 15 on the deck save and I was like, okay, I'm probably fine. And then it was like full damage. I was like, oh.
It's pretty high, I think. I have to look it up. I want to say it's more than just like how it does it for a character, but I also know he's like super like int and wisdom heavy, and he's got like no physical stats, and I think that's why it's like that. There's some other thing about it, like he's got a bunch of like perks, but I'd have to see. I'd have to look.
I don't care. I mean, it's not a big deal.
I've had so many near-death experiences.
It's true.
I think that like your bad dice luck, and it's funny that you go into encounters with that mentality, because I go into every encounter that we go into, I'm like, let's go. I'm like, we got it.
Ridiculous health.
And that's why I just like the whole like shout to the thing. Okay, guys, maybe I can kill a lot of things really fast, and maybe I probably won't get killed this time.
Maybe.
Like that one time I splattered the entire room full of sleeping goblins.
Gross.
Hobgoblins, wasn't it?
It was hobgoblins. They were the upgraded version.
That's right.
And that castle that made no sense. It was a bunch of tiny little rooms.
Yeah.
Like for most of the rooms, I couldn't even like picture what they would like. Once you revealed the whole map, it was like, what were the purpose of those rooms?
Yeah,
it's
like 2 hallways and a bunch of closets. I don't really know how to describe it.
Who designed this castle?
Or like, I mean, the rooms are like 15 feet by 15 feet for some of them, and it's like, I guess if this is just like a murder hole for you to shoot out of and flip oil out of.
That was dumb too. That was dumb. Yeah. That one time Lyle fucked up.
Oh, that was a good example of where they just kept rolling high. And like, you can have bonuses that kind of sway things, but if you just keep rolling 19s, you're going to hit basically everything. You know, it's really rare that someone has an AC that can top that on top of whatever bonus they have. So.
Right.
Shit. Plus, I also wanted to encourage you guys to use more like tools, like have like an Alchemist's Fire or a scroll and stuff. So an easy way to like, look how strong this is. And just one of them, I guess, took it and rolled with it. So.
And then Lyle throws one down a pit with a entity that may or may not be ominous and evil.
That's totally one of the characters that is not even a character in the base module, by the way. It's just like you'll fight the Nothic, like in the whatever. In the Red Brand hideout, I think. And then for us, it's like he turned into such a big thing. But vice versa, there's a goblin, I think Droog, in that same place. And you're like, oh, a goblin. Like, you evil? No? Bye. Well, and that for everyone else, it's a big deal what you do with the goblin. And like for us, it's like, okay.
Well, because at that point, I just remember Bolvar, yet again, was all for just like mercilessly killing this goblin, which to that point, we walked in, did not attack us, I think you described it as having like signs of having been like abused and things. And I was like, we cannot kill this goblin for no reason.
Not just being abused, but we think he might not have been all that. Like he might have had a few screw looses. Well, or that, or he was just challenged in some way.
I mean, I think goblins aren't inherently that smart,
right? But I think like he might have had damage.
Yeah, he was basically the pet of like 4 bugbears, which are like basically beefier goblins that hit hard. So, and then I think it just came up like you also had like the Glassstaff familiar or something come up right at that moment. It's like, you get out, we need to deal with this. Get the rat.
And then that fucking ogre, was it troll or ogre that came out
in that?
Yeah,
or there was
that was in there was
Wyvern Tor.
Yeah,
I thought that's where we found that goblin.
No, there's one in the Red Brand hideout in the Tresendar Manor.
Oh, the ones in the church or like the chapel.
No, there was a single goblin underneath the manor where you found the Nothic.
It was the last room we went into. It was like Glassstaff's reading room / enemy lab.
Okay.
And there was this like cowering goblin. Like we came in and he was like cowering under or on the bed. And
okay.
You remember it as the room that had the secret door that you knew was there but you couldn't find because you kept stabbing the wall
and shooting it with Eldritch Blast.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I think I don't know. I like that you don't hold Eldritch Blast and some other spells like to a certain degree, like rules is written for like Firebolt is like it, and like I think Eldritch Blast is that they have to target creatures. But something that I like is that like if I can conjure a small fireball in my hand and I can potentially miss because I throw it, basically, I think that I should be able to throw it at whatever I want.
Yeah.
Which is something I appreciated as playing as a sorcerer because I think technically rules is written says like it has to target a creature. So like you couldn't use Firebolt to, I don't know, ignite a room full of flour or anything like that. It would have to be, or Eldritch Blast couldn't target anything sentient. I don't know how you define creature, but
Yeah, I don't mind. I like flavor text, so that all lends itself to it. It's much more interesting to be like, I blast the thing out of the sky. So, yeah,
I would shoot this barrel. Barrel explodes.
was that a reference? Did you shoot a barrel?
I shot my flour barrel.
And then
Yeah.
he killed everyone with smoke.
2 people, okay?
Yeah, we're gonna let them live. We had gotten them to
Well,
reform.
we don't know if they died.
They
And-
did. The Nothic said they died.
Oh,
It ate
oh.
them.
Well, I think he said
Oh, right. Oh, he ate them. So I didn't kill him.
You burned them alive.
That's your fault. You got the smoke going, and then they asphyxiated.
Oh, and then he ate them?
Yeah, and then he got
Oh,
mad at
yeah.
us because they were smoked.
Oh, no, I remember this conversation now. Yes.
The Nothic has become such a good character. So the Nothic, I guess, I don't want to talk too much about the
He
lore.
didn't appreciate Lyle burning his meat in
Yeah.
He
gold.
didn't like
But
that.
it's like an underground creature that's got like psychic and shit. And he's just like in the ravine for reasons.
I imagine it like a big spider.
No,
It's like vaguely
I think we've
humanoid,
got
and it's
pictures.
got, like-
Right, but that's
David-
how I always pictured it.
Oh, I pictured it as like the picture that you
Mm-hmm.
sent us out.
But it's meant to be just kind of like a whatever fight. And it will kind of talk to you a little bit. But for us, it's become this like, he's like this weird, like, semi-god to like the forest he lives in now in that well, where he can't really hurt. He's not really hurting anyone, but he's like basically dominating the forest with his mind. And despite being like omnipotent to a certain extent, he's like, I just want some meat. Just give me some meat. And
Look, guys.
guys,
I'm
I'll
hungry.
sell that dude out if you could just send a cow down here. That's been a really good character. I like that kind of came out of that. So,
Yeah, I think that's pretty fun.
I can't wait for Alex, a new guy, to encounter that. Because the same,
You
I
should
think,
okay. So
should send
I
him
think
down to
that
meet him.
You should try to have the Nothic like reach out to him specifically before like. So let's say we cross past the well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have the Nothic like speak to Morn or Lyle or somebody else. He has to make the wisdom save, and I guess as a cleric, he might actually make the save, but like, it'd be funny for him to like get whispered by this creature when he has no clue where the rest of it is, and like the rest of us would just be like, "Oh, what? The Nothic? Yeah, it's fine.
We're like,
He's in my head."
Wait, is he my god? Is he crazy overlord?
but yeah, I've had a lot of fun with it. I know, like, I think we really like took it and made it our own. Whereas I know some people like they'll run the book campaigns and they just keep like very strictly like. I believe it comes with like 5 pre-made characters because it's meant to be like the starter set. Like we threw that shit out like right away. Like I always love making characters ourselves, and I think I know like what are the big differences we have. I'm trying to think. Is we have Striker the Blood Hunter, who is your mentor.
He's a dick.
Yeah, he's a sack.
Or you hate each other.
Yeah, he's not a fan of me. I'm not a fan of him.
Is
Yeah.
he technically
Which
the
I
reason
don't
why you
mind. I
died?
don't. Well, okay. So basically, and Lyle knows this. 'Cause,
I don't know this. Well, my character doesn't know this.
And basically, what happened was, he's a selfish. The way that the whole like Crimson Rite works is it requires like the blood of the caster to activate it, and he like fed me the like inoculation, the blood hunter inoculation, because he thought I was going to die anyway. And he just, instead of using his own, he selfishly basically just like
Took yours.
jabbed me in the stomach with his sword. And then because I'd been the inoculation had started, it was like enough for it to work, and just lit it up and was like, good enough. Instead of just like cutting his hand and putting some blood on his sword, he was like, this guy's dying. Sure.
Why let this blood go to waste?
Right.
So
He's a dick.
see, we have that. Our Stonehill Inn has quickly became its own entity. I think like there's not even a description of the inside in the module, and like the Stonehill is just a name, and then it's become a huge thing with Pobo, the massive
That's
dancer.
basically our clubhouse.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hobo the
that's where-
hobo.
And that's why I went back and I redid it with actual little more like art instead of like the drawing, because it makes it feel so much warmer. Or like the fact I want to put like little I don't know, just like art pieces in, like how you have Pobo's figurine, you have your plate, and just slowly like make a little, I don't know, little things that actually like, oh yeah, it's home kind of feeling. Because I think that's what I was talking to you. One thing that we lack compared to when we used to be in like the custom world of Polkite is you don't really have a home. It's kind of implied that theoretically, now that you save the brothers, you might just leave. you know, sell off your shares, and that could be the end of the campaign. And I think so. I'd like to kind of hopefully either you guys have a reason to adventure together or something, or find a home.
How's that wish turning out?
I have. So what that's referencing is at the end of our first campaign, this custom campaign, it ended with one of the players getting a wish, and he made a wish, and things happened. And if we ever want to like end this, that's something I feel like I have ideas for, and several other things. If we ever want to go to like level 20 and make a return and do that, I have ideas, and I think I have. Right now, if we were to continue playing everything, I'd like to merge with our old campaign, go do Tyranny of Dragons. And there's stuff in there that I know how it would tie back into things that are already happening in Polkite.
Cool.
So
the guy who got the wish doesn't even play with us anymore.
True.
Yeah,
that's why it's even more mysterious, because he doesn't even remember what the wish is.
He doesn't?
No, I have it written down. He doesn't remember what he said.
Really?
He just vaguely knows. He's like, I think I said this and this. It's like, oh, I know.
When he told me, I think way back, he told me what he wished for, and it was like weirdly like, and this could be wrong or I could be misremembering, but it was like something like sadly like basic, like, I wish that we don't lose this fight. It was like, what? But I don't know.
I'm still so mad about that.
I will say he wasn't very specific. It was definitely someone's like, I kind of need this and this, and then we win. Kind of. That was that kind of thing, and it was like super open to what that can interpret.
Right. I think that he only told me basically that we win. And I wished that we win.
Yeah, and there's some fun stuff I think I can play off of that'll have fun effects. Because the way I view the wish spell, I thought was really kind of neat, and this isn't exactly how I did it in that instance, but I think in 2E what it was is it forces the nearest like power that can make that happen to make that happen any way they see fit. So if that's Bahamut, probably okay. If you wish to win, and it's like
against something evil, then
Tiamat, and it's like, oh, I can blow up the continent.
Done.
Done. Yeah. Like however they see fit. It's like that's why it's such a gamble. Is you don't know which
entity is answering the call.
Yeah, and I don't know how it is in the newer versions, but I like that because I think that summarizes it really well. Where it's not just, oh, I'm definitely gonna fuck you. It's like you could get a good god or something, or it could just be like there is a wizard that's powerful enough to do it, and he'll just do it. So it just depends.
Or somebody who's like got too much on their plate right now. And they're just like, yeah, it happens, whatever. And it's just like, what are the consequences of that?
But I'd like to eventually go back and I have ideas for that. It's just that's way off in the future because, like I said, we have basically that original campaign with the original characters, and then we restarted doing Rise of Tiamat. I think is the first one. Horde of the Dragon Queen, yeah, and then Rise of Tiamat's the other one, and Tyranny of Dragons is like the set, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I want to go through all that, merge those parties somewhat, merge our current parties somewhat. Just so you guys would have eventually, like, I don't know, maybe like a guild or something. Or a team. I don't know if you what you want to make it. If you want to be like Murder Fort, Pobo, or something. Or if you want to be like a faction, like we are our own version of the Harpers or something. But have something like that so you could be like, oh, this is something that Morn would go on, but Broloff wouldn't. So we sent him, and you could kind of pick and choose. And then I think that'd also be fun because then we could start doing fun stuff like splitting character levels. So you could say like, yeah, we want to send all our good guys, but we got this apprentice over here who's like my level 2 that I really want to kind of try playing as, but then you can play it in, and then you have to be like, oh, well, who's going to protect the level 2 while we go fight the dragon?
This sounds a lot like XCOM now.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. Because then you can even have like a home base, and I would love to like that level, especially because then you start getting to the point where you can really affect the world. So if you're like, man, we can save the world, but the only way to do it is we gotta fuck over Neverwinter. You could actually go do that, and it's like Neverwinter's gone or something like that. You get those cool points, I think, and I'd like to get to that point. Don't yet know how I'm gonna do all of that, but I'd like to eventually get to that point. But first, we need to get to this cave without you guys dying to the flame skull.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
More unconcerned.
Unconcerned.
Karnath is very concerned.
More dead once.
Totally fine. Cutscene death, didn't even feel it. Didn't even hurt.
Morn's slogan is YOLO, you only die once. So he's fine now, he's immortal.
As far as he's concerned.
Any other highlights before we swap topics? Did you like the eye fight? with the doppelganger. I felt going into that either one, it was really cheesy that it was a doppelganger, because that's like, I feel like the gimmick you would do with a doppelganger. And then two, I thought for sure I would have fucked up the invisibility, and you'd be like, someone's gonna be like, "What's the giant eye for?" And be like, oh, "Damn it."
So I think that because that was our first encounter with a doppelganger, I liked it.
I did too.
I think that's the same thing I wanted to get with the fireball. It's like there's only so many good like firsts you get in D&D. Like one of the things I think we could never do is do like the first with a troll, because I think everyone knows how to beat a troll.
Right. Everyone's played enough different fantasy games that like the whole troll gimmick is like, I already know.
It would just be stressful to be like, well, my character doesn't know, but
well, the part that got me, like, I feel like the fight overall was fine, but I think the best part was the interaction leading up to the fight, where he was posing as.
What would you have done if we just didn't free him?
Yeah.
like he was chained to the wall. Like if we would have taken longer. So like, did you have like a time limit where he would have like freed himself and popped it, or like, would you have?
Well, originally, you're supposed to, I guess, sneak in and he just fights you in the room as a doppelganger.
I
had this other idea. I
guess I didn't know
to do,
how you saw it going, like your version, not necessarily the book's version, but like when you saw it and he was restrained. And did he have like a way out, or would it have just been waiting for us to free him from, and then he's got the room to make his surprise?
Or like, what happens if we would have like taken his boot and the scroll and used it on him?
I mean, that's the way I kind of saw it working out, was that he would ideally trap you, because like that's his kind of trump card. But what I thought was going to happen was that he wasn't going to notice you to be able to set up. Like I thought, because you guys started like just north of where he is. So I thought you were going to I thought you were going to do a Wayback Cave and go straight to the boss. And then once you do that, it's like, I guess there's some goblins. Who cares?
So here's a question then. Did you lock those doors in that way to stop us from going straight to him, or was that predetermined?
They are locked and you need a key. But I think the unlock Lyle didn't get anyway.
Well...
But I kind of did like, you need to go.
No, I think you told him that you didn't let him attempt. You said that you needed a magic key.
Yeah, it was a magic key.
Yeah, but I also did the caveat where it's only on the lock. You could have kicked down the door.
Oh.
Or that's the small caveat I kind of was there. It's like, it's only technically on the lock, and technically it's more of a maintenance thing to keep shit out of the lock. But it does, as a side effect, make it harder to lockpick.
Okay.
But I guess that was a small thing to like go over there and explore.
So I could have shattered the door.
Yeah, the way I heard... Well, I mean, maybe that's just our fault, but the way that I think it came across was that these doors are magically locked. Woo!
Yeah.
Find the key.
So I'm actually super sensitive about that when it sounds like I'm railroading hard when I'm not, because of something else that happens. That's something that's a good example is fucking Hammond Cost, that necromancer that Cole stole from. I fucking told Bolvar about the ring. I whispered that he knew about it. It was him that didn't say it. But I felt like it looked like I was like, oh, he doesn't sense it. And I was like, no, I told him. Wait, it was him.
What?
Nothing. Andrew and your character don't know, so.
Me and who?
Yeah.
You and also Karnak did not catch any of the subplot that was happening in that scene, where I knew and Cole knew some shenanigans were happening. And I was just like, yes, but
and I like the fact that I think he must have missed the message or something, but it's like, I told him it was there. It wasn't me just being like, no, it just doesn't happen. But I feel like that looks like it's
best. I mean, it's fine. Came out later anyway, and
Cole's I'm a little suspicious.
Oh, that's another character that's changed is freaking Halia. Yeah. Halia's not even like it's like a barely mentioned character in like the original module, and she's become so much more, and she's going to lead into more stuff, hopefully.
Miles, a sneaky little bastard.
Why do you not trust any of Cole's characters?
Because he's always sneaky.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. I mean, I don't see.
I'm not saying that he's bad. I'm just saying that he's holding out.
Well, so are you.
Not really.
Yeah, your whole backstory, everything that's going on, aside from the fact that you're an archfey warlock, the whole reason why, how that works, how any of that happened, where your powers come from, how you communicate, all of that was...
Karnak is self-conscious about it.
So that's fine. but you're holding out too.
Yeah, but his stuff, it has to do with like business and stuff in front of us.
All your powers are in front of me every time
We know
do every day.
I'm doing magic and shit. That's what's like what? How's that much? How does that equate? Like
because warlocks operate by doing what their patron tells them. That's how they get their powers. Yeah. So. I think that you are already beholden to a power beyond the party.
Mm-hmm. You guys keep on. You guys always talk about him also being like with a fiend and stuff.
Well, look at it this way. He is, on one hand, you're potentially a dude who's like sworn a pact with a demon that has potentially evil magics. He's just an orphan that's smaller than you. Yeah. And you just beat up on him.
You just bully him.
I don't bully him.
You're just a bully.
I'm not a bully. I think he's hurt me more than I've hurt him.
I don't think he's hurt you at all.
I guess he doesn't have any AoE, so he's like the least likely to hurt anyone.
Anyone that he doesn't mean to.
Yeah. He shoved me when we were after we fought the spider.
Shoved you?
Yeah.
He let the darkness get cast on you and let that happen.
I think that didn't hurt you though.
No, it didn't hurt me.
Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think if there's any other main things to call out about our specific campaign for anyone else that had played Lost Mines or Phandelver. I think that's it. I don't know, the blacksmith has a little bit more to him. The shopkeeper obviously has that interaction with Halia, Pobo, and Toblerone. We changed the Toblerone.
I love Toblerone.
The innkeeper, I can't even remember his real name. It's like Tobin, Stonehill, and we just started calling him Toblerone, and it's so much better. So much better.
It's easier to remember, and it's like, this is a fantasy game, Toblerone, sure. And it's not, I don't think it's like that ridiculous of a name. It's not like poopy butt, poopy face. Like, that's stupid. Like,
I have some stupid names.
Stupid.
Some NPCs have had stupid names in that Roll20 because I name all the enemies.
Yeah.
But,
like if you would have given like an NPC we would meet again, and not just like an enemy we're trying to kill, a stupid name, that's different. But I think Toblerone's fine.
And in all fairness, a lot of the goblin or monsters with stupid names are like goblin stuff that come up with stupid names.
Mm-hmm. I think the best thing I like by the name is not only it's funny, but it also, I think it adds to the world a little bit. Like, something like, what would be a good example, one that's not a joke? The one I always think of is King Grog, the big bugbear you fought. It was like King Grog,
Hider of
Sausages. And it sounds like a joke, but you're like, there might be a story there.
Might have hit some sausages.
I don't know why he's called Hider Sausages, but if we wanted to, like, it gives me something to flesh out. Like, oh, if you, for some reason, need to befriend King Grog and he becomes a playable character, it gives us like a start. But there's a lot of things in that where it's like, what's his thing?
We know one guy's thing, the bugbear that never washed. We know his thing.
Yeah.
Or it was. For that one bath.
How did you decide if he was going to fall into the creek?
Oh, that's a good question.
I just made the athletic checks in the dark, and he was the one that failed. That's why it was just so funny.
That's hilarious, just by happenstance.
It wasn't planned. And that thing is, like, they're also sneaking up on you. That was the main thing. As I think he either failed the stealth check or the jump check. And it's like, well, it'd be perfect if he fell. Because then you hear it, turn around, oh shit.
And I think that also really balanced the encounter out a lot more, where like,
yeah, because that would have really fucked our shit if he was making us disadvantage everything.
Yeah, that would have been a pain in the ass. And I think that
might have.
I assumed that you did it on purpose to balance the encounter better after you realized that this is going to be deadly.
Good. You guys really went around those quests really well too. That's one thing I was glad I didn't have to like you have this quest. You could do like technically like the Aga things. The Banshee is entirely optional, but it just worked out that you guys did like every little module subquest. And I think that's the other thing that I called out was they also called out that Thunder Tree's dumb. Like in the module, it's not a tree; it's just a statue. There's no name.
I love that it's a tree. And
the tree was amazing. Yeah, it's way better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, that was one of the things I think everyone complained about the module is that if they go there too early, the dragon's probably going to kill them. If they go there too late, the goddamn like twig sprites or whatever are really annoying. And it's just like just don't go there. Is basically their answer, or change it all.
I guess one thing that I would have appreciated, even though I guess I wasn't playing Bolvar, was if when we got to and maybe this was just those orcs and that's fine, but when we got to Wyvern Tor, if we could have at least like gotten a chance to like get inside and talk to somebody and not just like the gate guy before we just got like bum rushed. That would have been because one, I had zero expectation. I was sure that we were going to find zero information about
his father.
Yeah, because like that just doesn't make sense with the backstory you gave. Why would these basically like feral small group of orcs know anything about your sailor dad? But
I forgot he was a sailor.
Yeah, he wanted to do it, so I was like, all right, well, we'll go with you and help you out with that. But I think that it would have been nice if we could have gotten in and talked to him, and then they'd have been like, you guys are dumb. We're fighting now. Like, that would have been, I think, a better encounter than just, like, orc attack.
I guess, yeah, that's true. I wish that had worked out a little better. I think there's definitely some cool moments. Like, one of the things so Bolvar has moved on to, like, a different party. We could say that. Like, he's not playing with us anymore. But one thing I liked about his characters, one, he had a decent backstory. Like, I think like a lot of times when you, like, start a D&D character for the first time, you go super edgelord. And
that's because I coached him through his entire backstory. He was like, I want to do this. And I was like, no, you're not doing that.
But I think what I loved about Bolvar is he emotes, like, so hard. Like, when he hated Halia. Like, not Bolvar, like, no, actual Taylor, the, like, player. Like, he was fuming the first time you guys met Halia.
Boris did not like her even. I don't remember why. It's like he tried to, like, say something to her, but she was, like, preoccupied dealing with the fact that she like knew who Lyle was and like dealing with that, and so she kind of like brushed him off, and he was like, oh F you. And just from then on, hatred.
And then his encounter with the fucking mayor.
Oh yeah, see, the same thing with the mayor. That was a big difference for us. The mayor's just like a random character in the main one, but in this one he's just like on a roof crying because Bolvar, our half orc, what was his class? Paladin, yeah. Went up and just berated the shit out of him. And he just got him to quit. And it was just brutal. It's like, come on, man. Everyone hates you. You're terrible at your job. Why are you even here? Why?
I think all of that happened off screen, like, for the most part. Was he alone in that situation? Like, it was like him talking to the mayor himself.
Yeah, there was that. I didn't even hear it because I was like in the other room or something.
I think, like, it definitely was like physically he came back, yeah, and was like, "What went on here?" And
everyone's laughing,
or like I think for me, my class, what I loved the most, like probably so much joy as a DM, was in the orc cave fight. There was a pile of bodies, and on it was like a 1 HP like previous like bandit leader, and he wanders over to join the fight, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna fucking go!" And you could tell he was so happy when it happened, and it's just so rare that you get a moment like that. So. Unfortunately, it wasn't story based, but that like when the ogre shows up, that was a big moment too. So just like, and then what was the orc guard's name? Gork.
Yeah, Mork, Bork, Gork.
It was Gork because it was gonna be a Gorser.
Oh yeah,
that was another character that became so amazing, and I don't know why. Like,
or the one who. Gork Bang, or the one, there were like the two orc lovers.
Oh, that was the one that hated Moist.
Yeah. Oh, I was a little upset about that. I mean, it was fine, but I was a little mad that like my out of character reading of the name out loud, just going, so the Moist. Like, Morn definitely didn't say that. Yeah. You're just like, Moist. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, that one felt a little forced because it's basically a meta character. The point was like, you can't say it, but we also we talk out of character all the time, so it's hard.
Yeah,
and I would love to be in character all the time, but I don't think we're close to that at all ever.
No, I don't think so either, because I think we like to crack jokes too much.
Yeah, and also sometimes there's like just clarification's sake, like, okay, what is?
Well, I mean, I think that I think even in games where people are like in character all the time, they still like can be like. Rules clarification, and everyone assumes that their character isn't going, oh yes, but when I roll these dice, what happens? And they just look at him like, the F are you talking about, man?
Nothing, don't worry about it. I didn't say anything. Fuck off.
But yeah, hopefully high stuff coming forward. I'm hoping to do more custom stuff because I miss Paul Kite. But I think that covers everything that happened in that. The only thing I could think of is there's that one druid you guys encountered. He's also boring in the main module, and then he became a thing. God.
Oh, I assume this doesn't happen in the main module, but like the herbalist shop or whatever that we encountered. I assume that there's
the one with the locket or whatever.
Yeah, and that she would be able to maybe open up a potion shop or something in
It's good that you reminded me about that, but that actually is in it. She doesn't offer to open a bookshop. It is, but that's actually something you guys went over. So her husband was killed by the Red Brands for defending against them, and they threw him in the Nothic pit and got eaten, and his skeleton was there, but you didn't find it. And then her heirloom is still in Thunder Tree, and that's actually part of the module.
Skeleton was where?
In the Nothic's pit.
In the Red Brands.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's something you guys totally missed, and I don't think you're going back there anytime soon.
Well, I mean, I think we did go back there, and we looked just to see if there was anything in the Nothic pit after he'd left. And
I think I said there was a skeleton, but you didn't identify it as anyone. It's just a skeleton they threw to the Nothic.
Right, at that point, it's been so gnawed and eaten, I don't know if we'd ever be able to identify it. But.
And then she had the tombstone of him, remember?
Yeah.
And Striker was fucking around in the graveyard. Oh, Hammond Cost in the fucking moving graveyards. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, that was a whole thing. And
I'm so... The tombstone that Lyle didn't notice the one time and it was back there. What the fuck is wrong with that?
Oh yeah, since you said we could ask about Cragmaw Castle, what was there anything going on with that tombstone?
Yeah.
God
damn it.
Was it what?
Well, he's still doing the shit with the tombstone, so that's a little spoiler. But yeah, there was a thing. Okay. Something happened in between when Lyle left and it appeared.
Okay.
So, but we'll see. We'll see what Hammond Cost is up to among other people. I think that's what I like is like not only did it provide a good sandbox, but now going into like the next thing, there's a lot of I guess like players on the board doing stuff, not necessarily like working against the party. Just they're doing their own thing.
Potentially recurring themes.
Might be friends in the future. Might be enemies.
Yeah. Oh,
not be neither.
With Hammond Cost.
I know. That was made very clear when we were all talking.
Everyone else, he's got like Sister Grail. They're friends. Lyle's got Halia. You should get buddies with like Hammond Cost, the sorcerer, or the necromancer.
Yeah, you guys will be like this. You and your unknown power that you're friends with. He comes from a country that's ruled by a lich. Basically, same.
You can start a show like what would it be? Scry Eye for the mage guy. That could be what you start. He's all fashionable.
That's true, and he makes sure that all of his zombies are in uniform.
Fashionable too. He's basically an SS.
I don't get it.
The Nazis were fucking dapper. Like
you said it. You can't take it back.
Well, this uniform was like.
You should speak into the mic and look at the camera.
Like no, seriously. There was someone I was watching. He's like played a game where it's like, okay, so is this SS or like this one S like fashion designer guy? And like he would like take uniforms and like change them enough so you couldn't tell it was like obviously a Nazi or obviously just another model. It's like, so do you think this is it like SS or is this fucking highway model guy? It's like, fuck, I don't know. Like legitimately, they had some pretty stylish things. I mean, too bad they were scum of the earth and everything, but they were. I mean, they were dapper.
I'm concerned now. You were telling me how much you loved Wolfenstein before this.
Well, except it's where you exclusively kill Nazis, though. Oh, and a few KKK members. You kill some KKK too.
Spoilers, dude.
Are they drab?
Spoilers.
Is that where you're going for this?
Are you saying that they're dapper as well?
No, that's
saying that you're into.
No, they're stupid.
So we're at time because we spent the whole time doing D&D, which I don't dislike, but it was fun. I feel like I could always talk more about D&D because you just build up all these stories, and it's fun to go back. Like I miss back when we did the Horde of the Dragon Queen, we had that journal, which he still has, and I think that was something that I would love to have like kept going for years. It's just every time one character writes down what happened, just you could like flip it open like a yearbook, like remember when you grabbed his foot when you jumped. It's like, good times.
Everyone remembers that. And will forever remember that.
So I think what I might do if I can find some spare time with my PTO, I want to go through all that old footage and just kind of make something out of it. Mm-hmm. Like, it might be a very simple, like missing gaps, because I think there's whole sessions I missed, but just, I'm not going to heavily edit it, just like, here's every camera feed on the screen synced, go, just so it's out there and you can kind of rewatch it. And then that would hopefully give me some inspiration to tie that campaign back in with ours. But otherwise, I guess some small little notes is, so hopefully by next podcast, maybe not, because I think we're going to film it Friday or something, because Ellie's back in town. I should have a fix for the audio glitch. I think I know what it is. I think I know. There's an audio glitch where whenever I use these cameras, just these cameras, after I export it from my editor, it has all these like audio pops, and they're not enough where they're annoying. Like if you listen,
but they happen.
but as a person who edits it and you listen to it for 8 hours and then suddenly they start showing up, it's really annoying, and it's on like everything that uses these, so it's super annoying. So that should hopefully be progressing and getting fixed. And then I'll talk about my Fort Worth trip next time, I guess. Hopefully,
Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah, I went out of town Monday through Friday for business down to Fort Worth in Dallas. Yeah,
For business.
for business,
Not for fun.
Not for fun. A lot of business, a lot of food though. So that was cool. But we'll talk about next time when Ellie's on because she's back in town, and they can finally not have to do this like the week it comes out, because that's what sucks. It takes so much time.
Yeah, I can see that.
But hopefully, I'd like to get back to streaming D&D. Although I mean, usually I'm just like too tired to set it up. But then I regret it because they had that amazing moment with the fireball. I wish I hit record just for posterity's sake. I could just have like a 10-second clip of like Cole asking like, "You took fireball, right?" "No." "What?" And I could just like spam the end of chat.
Just Cole going, "What?"
Like a soundbite. I could have that as soundbite in Roll20. It was so perfect.
I thought he was like just being a dick because I thought he knew I couldn't take fireball. He was just saying that to like pull my leg.
No, he said it because, I mean, like you said earlier, it's a signature
spell
thing, and the Wizards has come out since then and been like, yeah, fireball is we made it that way on purpose. Pretty much everyone should take fireball every time. It scales really well up to like you just keep up. You get fireball and you just upcast it for most of the game. You got a bigger spell slot, fireball, slide that right in there.
But I can't have it.
God, I remember I was watching like some run through of a one shot by Chris Perkins, and they were like making characters, and when it was his 4th edition, and the guy's like, "Oh, is it Goliath? Is it good?" And he like, "Oh, well, let me see." He like opened the book and saw the stats. He just like laughed like, "Man, this was broken." And it's someone who played the Goliath, warrior. It's like, man, yeah. It's like, I can't do Axeman feat. Fine, just triple damage, I guess.
Oh well, I'll just shrug off that attack.
Yeah. It says here, based on these rules, I can jump a house without a running start.
So I hope you're ready for that.
God, that broke so many dungeons. Like, I need to change stuff.
Remember when
no
you
more
jumped over the
jumping
slime?
Oh yeah, that was great.
Before we knew it was a slime. Well, you guys might have had a suspicion.
Oh no, I don't think that I knew. I think that.
And I was carrying around that bucket full of like just plates, so I could.
Oh yeah, well, what dungeon was that? Was that the one where you got to control the slime and you had them fight?
I think so.
That slime? Yeah, that was a good moment. I really like that dungeon.
I kind of discovered I was like, we saw something. I'm like, I'm gonna throw a plate at it. Start throwing plates, and like they start getting stuck in the air.
And that's another like first I feel like we never get to have is like the gelatinous cube. Like it still can be a surprise, but it's no longer like you're suspended in air and your skin's dissolving. Do something, and you're like, I don't understand. I can't do what I don't understand.
Yeah.
So I feel like we can't have moments like stuff like the fireball when it has a chance, like the doppelganger. I'm so happy we can do, or even like can't wait for you guys to fight a dragon, which I think will come up in Horde of the Dragon Queen. I'm sure.
I think it will, and Morn was still planning to go deal with
That current
Venom Thing or
Venom
whatever
Fang,
the Green Dragon's name is, and
Venom Fang's up to some shit.
yeah, I can tell that he's up to some shenanigans.
Just I don't know if this is a spoiler or anything, but was that one
Yes,
guard? Was that legitimately him?
Yeah,
That was him?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just one thing. But like Lyle was so into murdering, or at least trying to, remember? I was like, hey, come in here, I'm gonna sneak up and attack him from the back. I'm like, and you're like, fuck no, we're going out that door right now.
Yeah, I think that was the one time I've let meta knowledge really impact the way that I play. I was like, no.
I think it's fine if you're like willing to let something like know it's dangerous, because you called out that Flame Skull was a powerful spellcaster. You called that out. Like, I don't mind. I think Moore knew it anyway because
I think you told me that.
Yeah, but it's one of the things where like I don't mind that because I don't want you guys to party wipe. It's more of like, oh, I don't know. I trip and the silver sword or I don't know, silver dagger slips out. Oh, what? It cuts the werewolf? That's useful knowledge.
Weird how that happened.
So we should do like a podcast recording sometime. We just like go talk about everything from the beginning of time for our world. That'd be fun. So then we can condense that all down.
I think it'd be interesting because I think that different people would remember different things.
Yep.
I definitely don't remember the order of some of the stuff in that first Paul campaign. Like I remember like the first
That's also
3
a few
sessions.
years ago.
Yeah. But then I know there's a lot of stuff that like just kind of happened. Like when was Klondike Bar? I don't know.
I know
it's kind of happened in there. Yeah, there's a lot of shenanigans, a lot of random dumb stuff. So, good times.
That was at Klondike Bar. I think was after the shenanigans with the innkeep or the tavern guy that I may or may not have accidentally
Did we need a new bar? Did we need a new bar after that? I don't remember.
I remember it was just a quest for some reason. Like you guys went to a bar.
Well, it wasn't all of us. It was just one of us. I think it was.
No, you all went there, but I think it was
DJ who
DJ wanted to steal stuff, and he just like transformed in them because he was a changeling.
Right, and I knew it had to be after DJ joined us because after he joined us is when the tavern thing happened. We know that because he disguised as the tavern owner and bathed his wife.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Prime. So looking forward to this Sunday shenanigans. I'm gonna hopefully stream it. I'm hopefully gonna fix that freaking audio issue and should be on my next podcast. I hope. It's been plaguing me for like a year. I hate it. So as always, so I am Grant.
I'm Grant.
I'm Andrew.
And we'll be back again in 2 weeks. Bye.